Hi everyone. I wanted to record a short video for you to just kind of briefly explain how to approach the competitive set creation exercise for this lesson. Here are the instructions. I just navigated to this page through the modules pane, and you can read through the instructions here. You'll see in this table contains the assignments for each of you to complete a competitive set for the hotels listed here on the right. So you'll just look up the first letter of your last name, select the hotel here, and then you are going to use the data set that's provided for you right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it'll take me to a screen where I'll just need to make a copy in order to access the file. Now, my last name is Brown, so accordingly, let's take a look here. I should be doing the Lodge at Blue Sky for Auberge. So I'm going to wait for this to open here, and then I'm going to navigate down to the sheet at the bottom of the screen that contains the Lodge at Blue Sky. So you can see I'm already on the Lodge at Blue Sky, but if you were assigned a different hotel, you need to navigate to these different sheets here. Now, everyone will need to also evaluate the Mayflower Hotel. Now, the brand of the Mayflower Hotel has not been announced yet, but let's go ahead and just assume that it's going to be a Ritz-Carlton hotel. Okay, so here I am on the Lodge at Blue Sky, and you can see the hotel, the subject hotel, is listed up here at the top, and these are all listed in order by distance. So I can see here that the next closest hotel is the Holiday Inn Express out in Park City. So lots of different hotels here. If you scroll on down, you can see we actually have all the hotels listed here for Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming. So lots to choose from. Generally, the radius of hotels that you should include should be small. That's assuming that there are comparable hotels with similar demand generators in your market, similar service levels, similar rates, all that kind of thing. So while we're talking about how to select hotels, let's flip on over to a slide from this week's presentation, which is the key considerations when creating comp sets or competitive sets. Okay, I've provided you this radial participation list, okay, or radial census report, I guess is what it's called. And you should be using that report to select your competitive set hotels, and these are the considerations that you should give heed to as you're doing that. So number one, by far most important, is participation. If hotels don't participate, you can't have them as a member of your competitive set. So let's first take a look at our sheet and go show you where we can see which hotels are reporting. Now, if I scroll over here to the right and I keep on going, okay, hopefully I haven't passed it here. Here we go. So I can see here in column CD through CG which hotel is participating in what. Okay, so ours is the subject hotel. So I can see here that the Lodge at Blue Sky is not reporting data, daily data to Smith Travel, but they are reporting monthly data, and they are reporting monthly segmented data. Okay, so there's no reason to eliminate hotels that don't report daily data because we don't report it either at the Lodge at Blue Sky. But we probably do want hotels that are reporting monthly data and monthly segmented data. Okay, this is a full service hotel. It's a luxury hotel. The Lodge at Blue Sky is. And so we probably do want segmented data as well. That'll show us how much business is coming from group versus transient versus contract. Okay, so the first P here, participation, we need to now go through and make sure that whatever hotels we select as part of our competitive set, at the very least, report monthly data to STR. And we probably want to give preference for hotels that also report segmented data. Okay, so that's the first P, participation. Next P is proximity. So if we cruise on back over here, proximity is all measured through this distance here. Now, something to keep in mind is that there might be geographical separations of hotels. This is how the crow flies, right? So, for instance, if we're looking at a hotel up in Park City, it might show that a hotel at Snowbird is close. Well, as the crow flies, it is close, but to get to it during the winter, you'd have to drive all the way down to Salt Lake County and then all the way up Little Cottonwood Canyon. So it actually would be like an hour and a half away. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you're putting together the list. Okay, our next item here is pricing. So we can't see the actual ADR of the properties. That's proprietary data, but we can see what class they have been assigned to. So if we scroll on over to column U, this contains the class, and we can see that our hotel is in the luxury class. So we want to give priority to other hotels that are also in the luxury class. So just kind of scrolling down here, we can see here's a hotel that's in the luxury class. Here's another one here as well. Okay, let's go and just kind of highlight these rows of luxury hotels so we can kind of see them. Now you should be also marking this up. So this might be something that we want to start kind of marking up, are these luxury hotel properties, okay? So I can change the font color, or I can like change the background. Maybe I want to do this kind of green color. Then I can scroll on over and see which properties they are. Okay, so Waldorf Astoria, Canyons Grand Summit, Pendry, the lodges at Deer Valley, Main and Sky. Okay, now what's interesting though is I've selected all these hotels, but maybe they don't all participate, right? So if we scroll on back over here, you can see that these hotels don't participate at all with Smith Travel. Okay, and a lot of these properties do, and these properties do up here, but these two properties right here don't. Okay, let's go look a little bit more at them. So this Main and Sky hotel is a luxury hotel with 33 rooms. Well, our hotel has 46 rooms. So that might actually be a pretty close competitor. Unfortunately, though, they don't report data to Smith Travel, so we can't include them. Okay, so there is participation, proximity, and pricing. We're using luxury hotels as a proxy for pricing. One thing to keep in mind with the class of hotel is you shouldn't necessarily immediately rule out hotels that are a class different than your hotel. So some luxury hotels might have upper upscale hotels as part of their competitive set. So generally no single factor will rule out a hotel from being a competitor. It's just kind of part of an overall decision. So you don't want to approach this by like immediately eliminating hotels and not considering them, right? You need to look at multiple factors. The only factor that for sure should immediately disqualify a hotel is whether or not it participates with Smith Travel. Okay, so let's flip on back over to here. The last one is product, okay? So what are the features, amenities, and services of our hotel? I would add to this, what kind of guests are we attracting at our hotel? What are the business drivers of our hotel? We probably want similar business drivers for our competitive set of hotels, okay? So to do this, you first need to really understand the product of your own hotel. So let's look up Lodge at Blue Sky. Okay, here we go. All right, so we can just kind of scroll down here and just read through their website. Looks like they have a really nice restaurant, a luxury restaurant. It's luxury as nature intended, so it's very focused on immersion in nature. Okay, they've got these yurts that can be rented out for meals and other things. And they have these creek houses, Sky Lodge, and Earth Suites. Let's go check out a creek house. Okay, so looking at these pictures, really nice balcony, very luxurious, full-length drapes here. Pretty amazing room. Here's a better view of what the room's like. Let's go on a 360 tour. Wow, this room is absolutely stunning. So not only is it luxurious, but it looks like it's really on the high end of luxury. Very beautiful Very nice room. Okay. So any hotels that we select as competitors really should be very luxurious as well. This is a very expensive room. If you were to pull up the rates for this hotel, you would see this is a really expensive hotel. Okay. Also, this immersion in nature and isolation is kind of a key component as well. Okay. The hotel's not really crowded. The rooms aren't all packed in. They're spaced out. So pretty unique hotel. It's small, has really high-end amenities, very experiential. People come there, they stay on property, they eat at the restaurant. If you did a little bit more digging, you'd discover that like the nearest, well, you can see that the nearest hotel is like 7 miles away. But restaurants and things like that are also very far away. So people are coming here and they're staying for longer lengths of stay, and they're really staying on property for the majority of their stay. Okay. This hotel is also pretty removed from Park City. It's out by Wanship, and they actually peak in the summer rather than in the winter. So different kind of business than maybe Park City. Okay, so that all makes it kind of tricky when we're selecting a competitive set. All right, so our hotel, if we flip back to the sheet, has only 46 rooms. That's part of the product, right, that our hotel is. It's a small hotel that is meant to be very experiential and isolated and immersed in nature and high-end luxury. Okay, so even though some of these other hotels are luxury hotels, they have very different demand generators, and they are very different from a product standpoint. So for instance, the Canyons Grand Summit has 290 rooms, the Pendry Park City 165, Waldorf 160. Okay, these are all massive hotels compared to this hotel. Now it looks like this hotel here, Main and Sky, might be a good competitor. It's similar in size. We could look into that more, but we already saw that they don't participate. Okay, the next property that looks close, these are all pretty big, but then we have this 66-room hotel here. Okay, so this is the Goldner Hirsch. Maybe that's a good competitor. The hotel we're looking at is an Auberge Collection hotel. If we click back on the main page, okay, we can see the Lodge at Blue Sky, an Auberge Resorts Collection property. Okay, and coming on over here, we can see the Goldner Hirsch is also an Auberge Collection property. So just the mere fact that they're part of the same company means that they probably compete for the same business. Now, that might be reason to not include them in the competitive set. Maybe a hotel owner would not want them included because that is one of their other hotels. But certainly, if this was a Hilton, oftentimes we would put other Hilton products in as well, because we do actually compete with them pretty good. That's something we got to be aware of, is we can't put too many Auberge properties in, because then we will not meet those requirements associated with the 50-50-70 rule. Okay, so of all these luxury hotels we've looked at so far, it looks like the only real viable one so far is this 66-room hotel, Goldner Hirsch Hotel. Okay, so we're probably going to have to go a bit wider. If you look here, we're starting to get outside of the Park City area now as we go further down. Okay, so we might have to look a bit more broader for this hotel, and maybe that makes sense for this particular hotel because they're attracting a different type of traveler and very luxurious, very high-end. So maybe they're pulling travel from a much broader area. Okay, so that is how we would go about it. You should be marking up this sheet. You could say these don't participate, so I could come back in after. I'm leaving it green, but maybe I'm coming through and striking it through to show that I definitely am ruling them out. Okay, so go ahead and mark up this sheet as you're going through your analysis. And remember, the goal of this is to really try to identify who this hotel competes with. Okay, you're not trying to create a creative mix of various types of hotels like a fancy recipe, right? You're trying to figure out exactly who this hotel would consider its competitors. Okay, so you'll do this for the first part, and once you've done a little research, you need to fill out this template here. Okay, and I just clicked on it down here at the bottom of the assignment. And so you'll come in here. So since I did the Lodge at Blue Sky. I'll put it in here. So the Lodge. Okay, and so maybe we're including Goldner Hirsch. Okay, so we've identified one potential competitor. You'll need to come up with 6 competitors total. Okay, and down here you need to put in the attributes that you considered when determining the competitors of your hotel. So clearly those 4 P's would be a part of this. You might kind of label them a little bit differently. So proximity was one. We're using the distance column, so maybe I put in distance. Okay, but that's related to proximity. Rates is related to price. Service levels, okay, is related to product. The small hotel. Okay, small hotels. High-end luxury. We already kind of covered that with service levels and rates, so maybe instead we'll go with seclusion or isolation. Okay, so put in what you would ideally use to screen each of these. Now, we've kind of said that Goldner Hirsch is probably a competitor of ours, but they actually are not isolated. If we look it up, okay, we can see they're located right here, right next to the Stein Erikson Lodge and right in the middle of the Silver Lake development of Deer Valley. Okay, this is a very busy area, densely packed with hotels and restaurants and condos. Okay, so it's definitely not isolated. So even though we have isolation here, maybe we have to relax some of these for including different hotels in the competitive set. If we always stick to every single one of these, then we'll probably end up with a competitive set of 0, right? Because at the very least, if we're trying to meet all these other criteria, we would need to reduce the importance on distance because we're going to have to get further and further away from Park City in order to meet all these other requirements. Okay, so even though we're putting in these screening criteria, we don't necessarily adhere to them for all of our selections. Okay. Here you're going to describe the process you went through when creating your competitive set and what you applied from the lessons. So clearly the 4 Ps should be part of what you applied and how you could go into more detail on how you applied each of those considerations and how you came up with the finalized list from content from the lesson. Okay, for help with that, go through the slides again and review the slides in section 4 of the first, what is it called? Let's see here. Let me shrink this down. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so here we are looking at our 4 Ps. Okay, this is section 4. Okay, and we are in the hotel industry analytical foundations section of the presentation. Okay, so go back and look at that section if you needed additional guidance on how to fill out this section. And really, you should be looking at that prior to completing this. You might already be familiar enough with it, having watched the presentation already. Okay, so coming back to our exercise here. So you've downloaded the file from here, looked up your hotel you're working on here, and are working through selecting different hotels that could be competitors. Okay, try to come up with a good sized list of maybe 10 of them and then eliminate some of those to find those that best fit the hotel. And then you're going to do the same thing for this Mayflower Hotel. These are some artistic renderings of what the hotel is expected to look like. It's going in on the Mayflower exit on US 40, coming out of Heber headed towards Park City. And it's a much anticipated area. This Mayflower development I think it's adding something like 4,000 skiable areas of terrain through different phases of development. I think they already have 10,000 new acres already cleared. So pretty massive development. I think it has 4 or 5 ski lifts. So first really large new ski resort to go into Utah in a very long time. So much anticipated, really nice hotel going in. So you will be creating a competitive set for this new hotel. You could research Mayflower Hotel and try to find these artistic renderings and maybe pull up some additional information, but there really isn't a lot out there at this point. Okay, so go ahead and assume it'll be a luxury Ritz-Carlton hotel, and you need to create a competitive set for it. Now, when selecting that competitive set, you're going to go through the same process that we started here by selecting and eliminating hotels. Now, there is a part in here that it says, okay, when determining whether or not to include a hotel from outside of the Park City area, consider whether customers that stay at your hotel are likely to choose the destination first and then find a hotel, or if they are likely to search for a hotel that fits their needs while being open to staying in different destination markets. Okay, so what do I mean there? Well, are guests that are coming to your hotel deciding to go to Park City first and then merely picking a hotel, or are they open to going to Vail and to Aspen and to Breckenridge and to Jackson and to Tahoe and all these different areas, right, where they could potentially go skiing? Maybe they're traveling with a group and they need a hotel that's big enough to host their entire group while they all ski and attend meetings and events. Okay, so if that's the case, that the typical traveler might be willing to consider other markets but is kind of more intent on selecting the right hotel, then you might need to broaden your search outside of the Park City area, maybe even outside of Utah. So just keep that in mind as you're going through this exercise. I have provided you data for all of Wyoming and Colorado as well. Okay, once you've selected your hotels that you think might work, like started with those 10 hotels that you think might work, make sure you're checking out their website and really understanding the hotel to make sure it makes sense from a product standpoint and matches up with your hotel. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I will talk to you later.